And good evening. This is the Elliott Wave update for the NASDAQ 100 for Sunday, March 13th, 2022. The markets are opening higher as we start our Globex session with the S&P being up 21, almost 22, the Dow up 154, now being sold, and the NASDAQ was just up 88, actually a little bit more, almost 100 points, and now they're kind of beginning to sell it off again. Let's go over what is really taking place, how we came into today, and then what likely is to come for the balance of tomorrow and tonight's trading, and then tomorrow. Here's Friday. Now, prior to the opening, the market decided to put in a fairly, during Globex, it ran up to 13,858, and then they began to sell it off. But then when we got, I think we got some economic figures in the jobless claims, et cetera, and it basically was showing that the market, or that inflation, has gone up 0.4%. So it's now standing at 7.9%. And I guess somebody's algorithm thought that that was bullish. They ran the market up. And then, as you can see, basically from that opening for the balance of the entire session, every single hourly bar was down. The market ended up down, almost 300, popped its nose up a little bit right in that first after hour, and then ended up finishing just above 13,000. We've now run up to a high at 13,399. Here's what we have. I believe I've moved the wave 2. Let me just pull this in a little bit here so we can see it. That minute wave 2 now is complete. Instead of here, it's complete here. And so we've started our minute third wave down. Now it's minor 3 of intermediate 3. So we've got a lot of threes coming off here. And great start. They just sold it and they continued to sell it, and they didn't stop. We had a little bit in and out here, and then they just continued to sell it into the close. So it makes sense, if this was the start of minute 3, that again, what we're now confronting is what we thought of here. Now we're doing it again here. It is a subminute 1 of minute 3. So we need to continue to allow some upside room for this small second wave, which really can get up. It basically almost got up to 0.236 of the decline, and that would have been at 13,413. But then 382 is 13,497. So it can almost get back to 13,500 before it rolls over again. Now, continuing, the market is just doing what the market does. And right now, I believe it's just purely technical trading that we come into the session to start the Globex session pretty oversold, at least on the hourly and likely out to the daily charts. Now, that does not mean that you buy it, but it does if coming out of expiration, they were maybe ending up shorter than they want to be. So they're just pulling in some long delta now. Again, many different reasons for why the market would want to bounce off of Friday's lows, which were just below 13,000 at 13,277, I think it was, or 75. Come on, computer, don't do that today. So yeah, 13,277 was Friday afternoon's low. Then they popped it up just a little bit as we got into the close, and then that after hours trade. So I do think that we're going to finish up a small wave 2, which would give us, what will tell us more that it's done, is if the market now turns and breaks back below 13,277. That'll put the 2 into place, and that we're down and we're coming off in the third. Now, my anticipation or my expectation of that third wave is this was a pretty good announcement that we were heading lower. Now, if they decide they're going to take this all back again, it's going to leave a very confusing picture of a market just determined not to be sold off against all odds. And so I'll figure it out, but I am not expecting any strong rallies. The strength of this rally could be up to like 13,500. That's how strong. That's going to pull it back to the 20 and the 50. The 200 moving average on the hourly chart sits at 13,677. I really do not expect, even a wave two could, as we've discussed, could move all the way back up to almost the high that we've just had. I do not expect that. I think there is enough out there pinning the market to lower levels pretty cleanly. And so to see it kind of turn and just force itself to pop is kind of interesting. But again, we'll let this wave two. Right now, we're above the 4, which I would totally expect. And then we have the 8 sitting right here, 13,422. So at that level, I think I should meet some resistance and likely find a spot to maybe be enough and then come back down. And if that's the case, this would be an A, maybe get a little B in here, we get a C wave rally, and then we start to come down in the third. Here are our support levels. They're going to be on this inside track. This is for the minor third wave. This inside is for the minute third wave. All the way on the inside is for the small subminute wave 2. So that's where we have our levels if the market decides it's going to rally. Now, coming off, first thing you're going to do, break below 13,277. Next support on the way down, 13,214, then 13,062. Then we start to break below 13,000, 12,950, 12,845, and then where minute 3 would be equal in length to minute 1 comes in at 12,570. Again, wave 3, normally the longest and the strongest, so I'd be still looking for this next zone down here, 12,266 down to 12,078. That's where I'd be looking with the potential that it can get all the way down to 11,774. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh yeah, sure, how's it going to get there? I'm not, Elliott Wave does not pretend to know that, okay, I can forecast the news. I cannot forecast the news. I cannot say what's going to drive it other than that we're getting a lot of technical signs that the market is correcting. The market is going to slide. The market should be going down. It is just the way that the structures are forming, not just in the NASDAQ, but in the S&P, in the Dow, and in the Russell. All of them are coming up with the same pattern. All of them are putting in a little bit of a rally here. And whether they feel bullish or not, I don't expect it to just run and just keep on going and start breaking it back above towards 14,000. That I do not expect. So I'm going to trust what the Elliott and the Fibonacci are telling me and what the wave structure itself are telling me. All of these are these intense little pushes are an anomaly almost. This push up to here was at 6 o'clock in the morning Eastern time on Friday. So I actually think this was the number that, no, actually this was the number, excuse me, but for whatever reason they decided to jump it up. There may have been some news or something, but it was immediately rejected, totally rejected within the next 3 hours. So, and then just even that all was rejected. So look for the small rally. I'm looking for it to turn. I've been reading a lot of calls of people saying crash, crash, crash. It's like, well, I think the market, if you really want to term it that way, has been crashing for a little bit. Even though we're getting these intense rallies, it's still, we managed to work our way lower. So But if we are truly, folks, in this third wave, let's put the whole picture together. I'm going to pull this out so we can look at it on the 4-hour chart so that we can see. I'm going to open this up. Come on. Try that one more time. There we go. Here we have intermediate wave 1, intermediate wave 2. So intermediate wave 3 down began off of the high at 15,260. Well, we hit 13,303 and we've been as low as 13,025. So we've already dropped 2,000 points down to where minor wave 1 bottom. So minor wave 3 is going to come in greater than 2,000 points. And if this is the high at 14,000, we're already looking below 13,000 because it should be stronger than wave 1. It should be longer than wave 1. So that's saying below 13,025. And if this was 2,000 plus, and this ends up being 2,000 plus, then you're looking at, there you go, 12,570. And that's just where this third would be equal to that. And that doesn't sit with me. So that's why I continue to look for these levels. Now, when we look at it on a little bit tighter band, like the hourly chart, it's the same dip, except you can't totally see it unless I pull it open, like this. So that's the wave 1. Here's the wave 2. We're looking for the third wave. It's in its infancy, basically, right here. And they're already jumping in. But now we're seeing that they're starting to come in and push lower. Again, don't be fooled that it's all going to start now, although I'm not a buyer in here. But if you're going to be trading overnight, if you're going to trade now, this afternoon, this evening, then remember, it could actually be ABC, but I'd look for it on a little bit cleaner structure. This would be A, we come off into B, then we do a C wave. And I think that would start within the next 45 minutes. And I would like to see it clean. And what I mean by that is be able to just distinctly see an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. And I may have to drop it down to a 15-minute chart or even lower so I can get all the internals and see that they are matching up. Now, I do not suspect a lot of strength to the upside, but it should generate enough to, excuse me, get it up there to put in a decent ABC up to form wave 2. The pressure coming off of Friday, the pressure is down. It was down all day Friday. The entire session was down. The situation in the Ukraine is not improving. There have been more threats put out against the West, against NATO, against US companies that are going to pulling out of Russia. A lot of vocal threats are being put out there. How the market wants to interpret that? Nah, your guess is as good as mine. But again, on a technical basis, I can see a small rally. I'm not looking for anything magnanimous or strong. If there is, it really has to be backed by some improvement in the Ukrainian situation, some sign that things are easing off, and I mean majorly easing off. But we already know that the market will react to any hint that this is going to be done. We're now going to be walking away from it. That's not coming through. So I'm going to leave it like this. I think we should continue to expect at least an ABC. If the current run breaks back below 13,277, then we have to consider that wave 2 is complete at the high so far. If it doesn't get exceeded at 13,399, then we're going to be looking for lower levels. And I'm talking it's going to break there, and then it breaks this support. It breaks, and it starts breaking support as it accelerates faster. All of our moving averages truly are right now primed to go down. 200 turning lower, the 50 turning lower, the 20 already heading lower, the 8, the 4 heading lower. So we've got it lined up for the market to hit the skids, go down. And so we're going to bear that in mind. And I am looking for lower levels. Now, again, we're inside that third wave. This is going to be the strongest part of that third wave. If wave 2 is done, then we're in the subminute 3 of the minute 3 of the minor 3 of the intermediate 3. So if I can just, I know I keep putting that all together, but I'm doing it so that I can tell you that this is what's going to be pushing it lower. You're getting it from several degrees moving lower. The pressure is going to, should begin to explode like we just saw, just like straight pressure pushing the market lower. People getting out, traders getting out. So once we get down 1, 2, we get a large enough third that should break 13,000 before we consider putting in a fourth wave. Honestly, I'm looking for this thing to come down into here before we put in a minute 4 and then a minute 5, which should bring us down all the way. Okay, then we get the completion point for the minor 3, and that's the one that I'm looking for to come down this far. Here's 100% on the minor level. That's 100%. So if I'm thinking that the minute 3, right? So sub, we get a sub 2, we get a sub 3, sub 4, sub 5. That completes the minute 3. Then we get a minute 4 and a minute 5 to complete the minor 3. And here is the 618 on the minor degree, 10,273. So when they're talking about that the market should crash, yeah, that's kind of what they're looking at. But let's take it in stages. And so is the possibility that this market could literally give up the ghost? Yes. The wave count and the personality and the characteristics of what we're confronting in terms of the waves certainly does suggest acceleration. And it happens to be in the direction that the market's going right now, and that is down. Okay, I'm going to leave it all there. Trade smart. Again, I want to tell you, when volatility upticks, as we see it in the VIX, I don't have my VIX in. We see it here is the VIX index. As we see it in the VIX, right now it's not going to. Right now they're bringing it off a little bit, but when they really start to hit the market, it's going to go back up above 31, and if it gets above 33, acceleration is coming into play. Okay, that volatility in the futures market is just the speed at which the market moves. But please understand that coming back up, it's going to jump as much as it does going down. It's going to come back up. So it's going to be more volatile swings. And in the NASDAQ, those swings are $20, $30 at a clip. It'll move very quickly. And if you're in the wrong side of the position, you're going to drop a great big chunk of money. Be careful on your trading. Follow the moving averages. Again, on the way down, they're all pointing lower. So we're not really seeing where a market should flip. But I'm going to tell you what, this thing just came down to like 33, 32, and started back to 49. So that's what I mean. Volatility, boom. So I'm going to leave it right there. We are money supply, money flow, kind of flat right now, as it should be. We're not really doing all that much. Oversold, but we can remain oversold. Doesn't mean that we're going to get this grand rally. The market can remain oversold. Remember, a lot of calls for like extreme oversold. Markets can get extremely oversold just before they crash as well. Just saying. So that's going to be it for today. Have a great trading day tomorrow. And the next update will be on Monday the 14th.